This is another episode of Palaver, where I come on here and I share things that I'm working on, things that I'm interested in, or things that are just near and dear to my heart to share. As some of you may know, Sun Part 1 is officially out into the world on all major streaming platforms. So I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about just art in general. So this EP series that I've been working on, Moon obviously was the first part, and now we are into the second half, if you will, of Sun. And I don't know, I talk on here a lot about like transparency and vulnerability and all of those things, and it's been very relevant to my creative journey. I probably get more engagement on here than I do on like my music, to tell you the truth. Or maybe it's like half and half, because it is monetized, so it is like, you know, it might be half and half at the end of the day. But it's just vulnerable being an artist in general, like sharing these things that you are really pouring your heart and soul and your emotion and ethos into, and you know, having the world reject them or tell you that it's not good enough or it's not up to par, and these have been like really delicate things for you, that meant a lot, so that has been something that I have been overcoming. And then, of course, you always have, like, just those people that you're never going to be able to satisfy. Like, you're always just going to have haters, you know, like, people who are like, well, that sucks. And then, like, you hear what they do and you're like, interesting opinion you have there. Cute. So, I am saying that to say, I am so incredibly proud of Sun. I feel like with every musical project that I release, I get better and better. And there is something in this project. It's only 5 songs. 2 of them are like, there's an intro and an outro. But there is just a rawness and a transparency. Like, if you want to know of like Sun really feels like I let my soul speak, and I love that. It is political. Everything that I do is political. I'm a Black queer woman, and so I wanted to just come and talk to you all about it a little bit, if you care to listen. Moon, I would say, is dealing with like really shadowed pieces of the feminine. And Sun, for me, is doing the same thing, just in the masculine. As a Black woman and as a Black queer woman, there were a lot of times in my life where I've been masculinized. And when I was a child, I found power in that, because being viewed as masculine sometimes can give you an edge, like an ability to do things that would otherwise cage in the feminine archetype. But as I got older and like as I sit with that, it doesn't feel as authentic or even as safe or as honest. And I don't know. And I fluctuate, and I feel like I will always probably fluctuate. But I do find myself a lot more comfortable in the feminine. And so, wow, that was really vulnerable, guys. Yee! But I'm just detailing all of that, you know, in this series here. So you have Moon Part 1 and 2. There will be a Part 2 for Sun. Spoiler alert, I'm very excited. I am just thrilled I am so excited. Do I share this with you all now, or do I let it come? If you can't tell, I am so geeked about this project. And I think I am. There is a... No, I'm not. There is a build up, and I'm gonna let it build up. I'm not gonna ruin it for the audience. There is more coming, and I am so excited for you all to see it. I am so thrilled. And so, if you've listened to Moon at all, if you haven't, please go and listen to it. I love Moon just as much. I think Moon deals with a lot of just kind of agony, of like really deep hurts that I felt like I couldn't express. A lot of like apathy that I wasn't able to acknowledge. There were just a lot of really beautiful, important, deeply impactful themes for me in Moon. So if you haven't, please do engage with that. And then yes, head over and check out Sun as well. I am a lover of music. I have always been. I'm a lover of words, artistry, spirit, right? Like I find God in everything, and absolutely in my creative process. And there's just, with all the things that are going on in the world, like everywhere you look, there's a reason to fear and to feel afraid and all of these other things. To be able to remind yourself that you do hold the power of like creating things that didn't exist before, I think is so important. Not just creatively, not just artistically, but like in general. I think that is just something that we can't let go of, that we can't forget that we have the power to do. Like we can create things that didn't exist before. And so this one will be a little longer for you guys today because I want to talk through the track list. Because for me, I think the micro matches the macro matches the micro in a lot of things in my life. And so we have True's intro, which, details just somebody lied, someone lied is how we're going to kick off Sun Part 1. And then it runs into Horned Creatures, which is important to me because I have a memory. I had a show. And if you all recall Ashley Mari, when she was putting together really, really dope ass... Can I say it's my show? Yes, I can. She was putting together really dope ass events. And I was on the set list, and I was really geeked about it. I was so, so very excited. And more friends came out to that show than like any of my other shows. So I was on the moon. I was so thrilled. I was so excited. And it wasn't until all of them sat down at the table together that I realized that like every friend that was there because they thought that like we were like pursuing some kind of relationship, or at least had some kind of romantic interest in me. And that made me really sad. Like I was crushed. I was so sad because I was like, well, are people coming and supporting my art because they think I'm pretty, or are they coming because like they actually think I'm a good artist? And I was really, really sad about that. And I had some experiences that kind of triggered that, where I'm just starting to second guess, where I'm like, do people actually like value being in community with me? Do people actually want to be around me even if there's like no promise of being like sexually gratified? And, me just processing that, the song came up. And I've been affirmed in that by my community all of the time, but as I've talked about on here before, external validation I feel like can only take you so far. Like there are some, like even if you're affirmed externally, like you still have to process it internally before it really hits. Like you could have a million people tell you that you're beautiful, but until you sit with that yourself and like really accept it for yourself, it doesn't really do anything, So we have horned creatures, followed by an Deus Machina. And my Latin is terrible, so judge me in the comments if you want, I don't care. But it is I remember the first time that I heard that. That's a literary term from, I want to say the Roman Empire, certainly somewhere in English Latin history, where it's like a story trope, and I might be, look, I'm years removed, but the idea of like God from machine, a plot of a story where like somebody comes in and resolves the conflict at the end of the day, the last minute, the shining knight in armor rides in on the white horse and saves the hero at the end of the day. And that is important to me for a lot of reasons. When I say that it's political, that is what I mean. I think that a lot of us are looking for some grand centralized hero to come in and like make all of the right choices and do all of the right things, that it took a lot of hands. Like we're looking for one set of hands to be able to come and like direct and dismantle and deconstruct something that took a lot of hands and a lot of years to build up in the first place. And it's like, it's this hero fantasy of somebody coming in and saving us from destruction. But I think as we're watching, and as we've seen throughout history, any time that we can look and be like, oh, this one person, they've been so great. Well, then like you find out their humanity, and it's typically some really dark, diabolical shit. And you're like, oh, they actually fucked us really, really terribly. Oh, okay. And I think we just need to hold on to that. And I think we really do need to remember that in so many ways, of like, no one is coming to save us. No one is coming to like fix it for us. Like you have to save yourself. You have to get up. You have to, whatever it is that you are avoiding to do, whatever it is that you are afraid to do, like it is so very dire for you to confront that and fix it. Because again, I think the macro matches the micro. Which, if I could venture off into a tangent, I think we get so transfixed on like major forms of protest and major forms of revolution that we ignore how important the micro forms of revolution are. So much as like just looking up and smiling at people when you walk by, knowing who lives in your neighborhood, knowing who lives in your building, talking to people in your community, talking to people at the grocery store. Like these are things that, a lot of people don't do anymore. And how can you change anything in your community and you don't know who is in your community? I think that's important. But that's the end of that tangent. After Deus Machina, we have Worthy, which I adore. It is my favorite song for so many reasons. Worthy is an affirmation song. It is a reclamation of destiny. It is And the affirmation is, I am worthy of power, of pleasure, of love and joy. And that's so true. And holding on to that and making decisions from that and living your life in that, and the respect for yourself and for those around you, holding that truth, and truly believing it in yourself, that you don't have to live a disempowered, bowed down life, that you deserve good things in this lifetime, has been very near and dear to my heart. And then we have Sunny's outro as the final track, which just makes me happy. There's humming on it, which calms me. I can't explain why. And it's, one of the lyrics are, though they tried to steal and recreate it, never let them turn your green jaded, which I think has been necessary for me. I have been so jaded. If you knew me before 2019, you would. There's so much that has changed, and I've undergone a very, very intense transformation. Because I was a very free spirit. I was a very open heart. I was very friendly and would talk to anyone. And was just very giving. And I don't think that is a bad thing. I don't think those are bad traits to have. But the building up and the affirming and the holding to of boundaries has been everything. And I didn't always do that. For a lot of reasons that I'll talk about in another series, another episode. But just deifying the people around me and expecting human beings to be better than human beings, and all of the hurt that came with that. So I was very, very hurt and very disillusioned at like what a community could even be, or what that really meant for real. Because if you know, the creative space has a lot of egos in it. Everybody wants to be famous. And so sometimes it's not really community, or it doesn't feel as communal. It doesn't feel as compassionate, or as thoughtful, or as kind, or as honest or considerate as what one would hope that their community would feel like. And so I took in a lot of hurts. I took in, a lot of terrible narratives being formed around me, a lot of people like being just very dishonest about the ways that they treated me and the ways that I was giving to them. And it was very, very painful experience that some days still hurts, because I love very, very deeply. Sometimes those things still hurt. But I'm learning to release them, because I think when you move through life like that is your karma to sit with. And I can honestly say that every interaction that I've ever had with people, I genuinely did try to move with the best intentions, with the deepest form of love for them and for myself. And so I made my peace with that. So Sunny's outro is just a reminder of, shit's not always going to be a sunny day. Sometimes it gets dark. But you can always come back home to yourself. You can always just recenter on your truths, on what makes you you, on the goodness in your life. So very long-winded video this time for you guys, but that is the premise of Sunny Part 1. And yeah, I hope you guys check it out. I am so very proud of this. And I'm excited for what is ahead. I want to tell you guys so bad, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut and just release it as it needs to be. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Love you. Bye.